Yep, that's me. So, this past weekend, me and my bestie, we went to Monsterpalooza. I'm pointing as if, as always, it was great. I've been going to Monsterpalooza since 2015. I think that was their last show at the Burbank location, which they do Sun of Monsterpalooza in October. Um, and it's fun. So I went and the first time, and I'm like, this is great. These opportunities are great. I'm meeting great people. I'm like, but it's so small. But yeah, so I was like, I don't know, like the trip over, you know. So the next year we didn't go, and that was a year that they're like, we're gonna be in a bigger spot in Pasadena, and it's like, we met some awesome celebs. We met Tony Todd finally. I made the Candyman costume back in 2019 because we're like, hey, um, Tony Todd is always at Monsterpalooza. At the time when we would go all the time, he was always like a staple guest, kind of like how like Kane Hodder is always like a staple guest, you know. And in the one year I make the costume, oh, Tony Todd's not going to be there. We're like, ah, fuck. The one year we make the costume, you know, I keep saying I make the costume and the big guy wears it, you know. Anyway, so the one time we do it, it's like he's not there, and then we're like, oh, you know, we'll see, and then fucking pandemic. When we found out that Tony Todd was gonna be here this year, it was like, fuck, finally. It was like, finally. You know, understand how excited I was. So, yeah, so like, once we were done with what we were doing Friday morning, afternoon, and then we're like speeding back to the hotel, get Paul changed into Candyman gear, and then we go to the convention, you know, we get our wristbands, we walk in, and we're like, which way do you think his table is? A girl sees Paul in obviously Candyman garb and goes, hey, if you're looking for Tony Todd, he's that way. And it's like, awesome. Like, and I even said that to Paul. I was like, if we don't know where he is, someone's going to point out the direction. Because it's like in, funny enough, 2019, where we did our Angel of Death and Hellboy costumes. We walked in, people stopped us for pictures, you know, because when a motherfucker's got 6-foot wings, they're going to stop you. And people are like, did you know Doug Jones is here? And I was like, you know. And it's like everywhere you walk, people are like, oh, we're going to get a picture. Also, Doug Jones is that way. And we're like, what? And we go this way and then get stopped and then can point another direction. And then we see him in the distance. And then like fucking parting of the Red Sea of people are like, he's there. Go, go, go. You know? Yeah, so that's great. So we got in the line. The line was pretty fucking good. It wasn't too long, too short. You know, we got there pretty much like within the first hour, and because I was just worried, because you know when you got like a big celeb like that, you know, like their lines get big, they get capped. You know, I just don't want another like Ohio situation. In general, let's not do anything Ohio related, but I didn't want the thing like when I went to go meet Matthew Lillard, and I just like stood like just staring at the line while security's like, it's capped, and just like waiting, and then suddenly security's like, Matthew Lillard's line is right, and I'm like running my fat ass over, being like, I'm here to meet Matthew Lillard. You know, like I don't want that. I just don't want that. So we got there a good time. It didn't get capped. They were kind enough to be like, hey, you guys are pretty much going to be the last people in line for now, because he's got like a panel coming up. And I'm like, sweet, you know? So that I was like glad. Again, very nice, very tall. It was funny because he saw Paul, and of course he was like, oh, you know, remind me of someone, you know? And it was great because like Paul didn't realize that Tony Todd was set up next to the director of Candyman. So I look over at him, and Paul just has his face like that. I'm like, bro, you okay? He goes, oh, he's the director of Candyman. I'm like, yeah, dude, that's why he's next to Tony. And Paul's like, yeah, he's like, the guy was staring at me. I'm like, why is he staring at me? And I'm like, I don't know, maybe because you fucking look like fucking Tony Todd back in the fucking I don't know, maybe because I did a really good ass fucking job. I don't know, man. Like, it was just so funny. He was like, oh, he's a director. It's like when me and him went to go see John Carpenter perform live. And They're doing the song from Christine, and then he's just like in the middle, all these John Carpenter fans, and his fucking himbo ass goes, "Oh, that's the car that's outside." It's like, yes, yes. Oh my god, jeez, bless his heart. He tries. Oh my god, that's stupid, man. That's why we're best friends. He's a fucking idiot. Anyway, so afterwards, we walked around the convention and ran into just people we've previously seen. Dust. It's really hard to get a table booth there because I've contacted them because they're just this one little convention that they just run one thing. It's not like fucking Reed Pop or something. And I was just like, hey, like because you never see them post online saying like vendor applications, da da da. So I'm just like, how the fuck do I get in? And then what people usually are in, and everyone kind of gets like the same spot anyway, and the guy was just, this was years ago. I think this was even like lockdown. And, like I contacted the guy, and the person was just like, I'm gonna be honest with you, like our wait list has a wait list, and it's like, sorry. I'm like, all right, I'm still gonna attend because it's a really good like networking event for me because you get like big fuck off names that you would just walk up to and talk to, and they're like, hey, yeah, I want to chat with you, and you know what I mean? They're like, you don't have to pay them money. You get to like talk to them, you get to see some of them do demos, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's good as someone who does the weird shit and would like to get paid for, their skills and talent. So anyway, so walked around, and then I was like, hey dude, I'm gonna like, because Nick Castle, the other OG Michael Myers, he got announced last minute because I forgot someone had canceled, and then they just were like, hey, he's just gonna be there Friday only. And I was like, all right, I brought my Halloween VHS as like, not like okay, I have to, but like if we can. So we had time left because on Fridays it goes to like 11 p.m. And so I was like, all right, we got time. Like, what else we gotta do? We pretty much like ate dinner. We got snacks in the room. Like, we good, Um, and so I was like, let me just check Nick Castle's line. I get to the, like, I guess whatever the end of the line is. I asked like the staff member, I'm like, hey, is the end of the line? They're like, hey, yeah, just get right there. Cool. And it's like there was no cap to it, it wasn't like, oh yeah, but he's leaving soon, none of that. So we get in line, got to meet Nick Castle, very nice dude. He made a comment about, yeah, I was like, oh, another Tony, about, what's his name, who played like the pretty boy face of Michael Myers, that Tony, about how much he wrote on the VHS. He's like, oh yeah, if you could sign below where Tony wrote. And he looked, he's like, God, why do you write so much? Nick Castle, the shape, thought that was like really funny. He did write a lot. He's like, my name is Tony, and I'm the Halloween 1 and Halloween 2, and it's just, and my dissertation about playing Michael Myers. But that was cool. So that was Friday. It was really great. So Saturday, Sunday, I did my Malignant costume. I sculpted, the face. I didn't do like a prosthetic because in the midst of sculpting it, I realized how immensely low visibility I was gonna have because all I had was literally like the one big eye. There was just like a hole that I drilled through, and then like there was another eye, but then like in like the curve of the inside of the eye, there's another little hole, and so my visibility was literally like 2 pinpricks, and sometimes, and again, it was a mask. It was a silicone mask, not prosthetic, because I think I probably would have been way too claustrophobic, and I probably would have freaked out at some point. Because we, on Saturday, I took multiple breaks. It's like we would walk around the convention center, and then go outside, sit down, take a breather. Once I was like good enough, got some water in me, was able to, able to lift the mask up and like see for like a hot minute, put that shit back on, go, well, just did that, like go back in, walked around a little more, came back out, did that, yeah, I feel like if I wasn't able to like peel that thing up and just be like, I probably would have had like a freak out moment, because again, visibility was very minimum. I had to have my hand on Paul's shoulder, so he couldn't dress up as Candyman that day because it was just like he was my seeing eye bear. So I'd hold on to his big ass, and then we would just like walk. He would just like walk me. And again, I could still see it, but it's like pinpricks. And there's a few times if someone was shorter or there was like something like below this that I can't I can't see it. And I would run into stuff, and I would just say, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I'm practically blind," and no one was mad. They understand. I mean, like, fuck's sake, you see the face that I have on me. But yeah, I'm very proud of the sculpt I did. You know, I bought the Blu-ray and watched the behind-the-scenes stuff, and was just like, oh, fucking okay, sculpty-sculpt, you know. Then it was all, like I said, it was full silicone. I painted it, and the last thing I did that morning was just like slather it with some blood and then pop it on, you know. And so then also with the costume, it was like a wig, a literal shake and go, like a cheap $20 wig, because I was gonna have to split the back of it, which I wore the back of it on the front because I was Gabriel on Saturday, and and then just like have the hair out like this, and then the bangs for Madison, and then I replicated my face, which that was fun. That really helps when you have like just a tinge of body dysmorphia, and then you have to stare at your own face and paint it, and make it match you, and then it does match you, and then you startle your own mother when you walk up to her with it in your hand. Anyway, so I wore the copy of my face on the back of my head, so that I wore the trench coat backwards, because and that was fun. The prop, the little blade prop, it was really janky because that was the last thing I did. I literally got everything done, and then I had like a day or two or something to get the weapon done, because I was, making sure this was perfectly painted. I was making sure the back, my face copy was also perfectly painted. The hair didn't take long. It was like 30 minutes for me to be like, oh, cool, what is this hair? Choom, 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 done, and plus, again, I have a fucking day job, so it was just like, cool, I'm just gonna make this thing done, and then like it was like within the first 5 minutes, like one part of it was like hanging off. I was like, oh fuck. And then like what was it, like I got weapons checked. Paul did not get weapons checked for the Candyman hook, but I got weapons checked for my janky fucking non-stabbing implement that it could be I mean, whenever I redo this costume, I'm obviously going to redo that, because everything else is fine, and that just needs to it's so funny I got weapons checked for that, because I was like, the bro has worn the Candyman costume to Monsterpalooza almost every fucking Monsterpalooza, and never once I just think that's so funny. Anyway, so met a bunch of people. I initially was worried that people wouldn't know who I was, because it's like, not a lot of people saw Malignant, I mean, if you like James Wan stuff, or you really love weird shit, you would, like Malignant. But it was great. A lot of people knew who I was. A lot of people, like, they were trying to figure out who I was, but they still, like, they were like, no, sorry, don't walk, wait, fuck, what, I'm like, Gabriel from Malignant. They're like, yes, so it was great. Again, met a lot of people, had several people poke my face copy, which, I can feel that, right? Even though it's silicone and stuff on the back of my head, you did the poke, I can feel that, that was a little annoying, because it was just like, I would walk, and I'm blind, and all of a sudden I'd be like, what the, hello? I'm just like, don't make me go fight or flight when I'm in a low visibility costume, man. It's like, speaking of screaming like that, there was a guy on Saturday who was dressed as Pennywise, but with like a spider body. So he had like a drink cart trailing behind him with the spider body. And at one point, of course he was getting a lot of attention because that thing was insane. And he just kind of was like, okay, guys, he like needed to take off the mask because he needed like a break. Again, hello. And so he was like, all right, guys, he's like, it's not very pretty. So, it's going to look worse, blah, blah, blah. So, we were like, what do you mean? Like this guy's saying he's really ugly. I want to know how ugly this guy is. So he goes to take off his mask. Just generic white man. You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't ugly, but I'm just saying, like, I was like, all right. And he did that. So then, mind you, I'm in full Gabriel thing, and I just let out a like scream outside, just in the middle of fucking Pasadena, just let out a fucking, like pig squeal metal, kind of scream. And the dude was just like, he like took off his, he's like, what the fuck is that? He like looked over, saw me, Gabriel, like, and just went, all right, hey, man. It's like, because he was like, who the fuck is screaming as a tire outside just went, you know. Anyway, so that was fucking hilarious. Sunday, I did the reverse. So I just painted my face pale. Oh my god, it's so great when I get to do like sickly makeup, because that means I don't have to do concealer and fix these dark circles, you know? Oh my god. I ended up enhancing my dark circles, which was like, beautiful. And then, yeah, so then I paled up my face, and it was so funny because a lot of people saw me, and they like, because you don't know I have Gabriel face in the back of my head, because I just had like this freaking banged like wig, like sickly pale face, and it's warm outside, but I'm in like a sweater and jeans. Mind you, I was schwitzing like crazy, but I had to be in costume, so like beauty is pain. And so they would look at me like they're like not sure, like, is this person sick? I hope there's a person isn't sick at a con, and it's like, damn it, how dare I do convincing sickly makeup, until like if I turn around, then they're like, oh, and then they realize, okay, I'm in costume. I also had blue lenses in because the actress who plays Madison has blue eyes. So when I went to go buy stuff, when I went to go buy something, this dude with blue eyes was kind of looking at me like, I know you're Asian, because, hello, monolids. It was like a guy kind of looked, he didn't say it, but like I could tell with his face while he was running my card that he was just like, this person is Asian, but very convincing blue eyes. What the hell, I just thought that was really funny. But then, yeah, people also poke the freaking Gabriel face, but they poke the mouth. The mouth is open, so you poke the back of my fucking head. So you were poking the mask, and then you go to poke the inside of the mouth, which is the back of my fucking head. And I was like, and so I straight up was like, who poked me? And this girl was like, oh, like you see her hand, there's like some fake blood on it. She goes, oh, I'm sorry, it was me. I was just wondering what it was made out of. I'm like, girl, you could have stopped me. I was just walking. You could just stop me and be like, hey, that thing's really cool. What's it made out of? Can I touch it? Like, just get manners, people, please, for the love of fucking Christ. But, yeah, so that was Monsterpalooza. It was great. Oh, yeah, also on Sunday, obviously, Paul was Candyman again. But, yeah, it was great. I didn't meet Melissa Barrera. I saw her. I passed by her table. She is very pretty in person. I mean, you know she's pretty. Jesus fucking Christ. Like, hello, look at her. But, like, there's some celebs where, like, oh, they look better on camera than in person. And then there's other people who are like, oh, wow, they're pretty. Then you see them in person, you're like, fuck, And Melissa Barrera is one that, she's very pretty. And then you see her in person, you're like, damn, bitch. All right, I'm just gonna, like, I can't be this close, like, the spectrum of, like, to hot and me, you know what I mean? Like, let me just step away just to kind of, like, give some breathing room between us, But yeah, so again, Monsterpalooza was great. Met a lot of great people, as always. But yeah, I'm gonna talk about what we did before it right now. I went to Akihito's booth, and got fucking, I'm like holding it back here. You want to see it? Anyway, so I got this Cthulhu one, unpainted, and I forgot what this is called. Goat thingy, I don't know, but yeah, so this is painted, obviously, and I thought these were out of like a mold, but apparently these are 3D printed, which, like, it's a good 3D printer when you don't see the lines. But anyway, and then he asked he was like, oh, do you want it signed? And it says, dear my friend Joe Aki. Yeah, so these are going on my fridge. And then, oh yeah, I bought some V-Neil travel brushes. These show price were only $15. I thought the dude said $50, so I asked him again. I was like, I'm sorry, how much is that? And he was like $15, and I'm like, what the fuck? Because all the other brush sets, which I don't need any more brushes, travel ones are fine, but the other brush sets, they were like, oh, this is so this is 150, and this is 250, and I was like, oh, fuck, again, I have those brushes, but these brushes, I don't have travel ones, so these are good. These are really cute. Probably will leave this one at home because that's for your eyebrows, and since I draw mine in, I don't need to be taming the eyebrows that do not exist. But yeah, I don't really have like small travel size brushes. I have like this one from like Sephora like mad years ago. Like I still have it, but haven't like used it like on the go because I feel like I would just, yeah. Anyway, This also has like a little pouch here that you could put a really small sandwich in if you want. But yeah, this is great, you know. So yeah, so that's pretty much. I didn't buy a lot last year. I went ham. So earlier in the day, we went to the Warner Brothers studio tour, and that was fun. You know, like we got to see a bunch of stuff, took a bunch of dumb pictures as one does, and it was cool. You know, doing some touristy shit. Met Jason Segel was there because they're saying like the person was like, oh, you know, it's Friday, so you know we might see some celebs, da da da. And then at one point I was like, who's this tall guy waving at us? So I was just kind of like waving back. I didn't get a picture because I was just so excited, just being hi, and like he like walked up to our cart. He's like, "How you guys doing? You guys enjoying the tour?" We're like, "Yeah." Even the girl giving the tour, like, she was like, "Oh, that's never happened before." She's like, "As long as I've had this job," she's like, "I've never actually ran into a celebrity." And I was like, well, "Okay, cool." Saw George Clooney's parking spot, which was cool. But anyway, so that was fun. That was a good like chunk of time for us to just be like, "Look at all these things that you know." Have very protected IP that we're looking at, you know. Yeah, and then of course the thing I have to do every time I come to LA is I have to go to Amoeba, and I got two thingies. So I got Muse's Showbiz, which is their very first album, which, you know, back in my day. So yeah, like this one cost a lot, but not a lot. It's like $35 because, like, I think this is one of this is still under like the UK release, so that's why it's like import taxes. Oh yeah, it's sneezing. Yeah. Yeah. So because I have all the other ones, but the other ones obviously are like the anniversary one. I think they did come out with an anniversary one for this one. I guess I somehow just like the 20th anniversary that just went past me. But yeah, like as I have the unboxing ones that I did, freaking Origins of Symmetry, obviously Absolution, which is huge, just standing right there. When it becomes the 20th anniversary of fucking Black Holes and Revelations, that I hope that box set is like it's like the Linkin Park one. You know, like I mean I love Muse, so I would pay like $200 to $300 for the thing because we kind of know that by now. Anyway, so the next one is Eternal Blue, which is Spirit Box. Yeah, you know, I was actually looking for this last time and they didn't have it. They had Lorna Shore, so it was kind of great that this time I was able to find this. But funny enough, this time I was actually looking for their Fear of Fear EP. So it was funny. It's like, well, maybe next year I'll find the Fear of Fear EP. You know, who fucking knows? But yeah, this is great. This is like their. It's crazy how like I like heard a bunch of their songs and then they come out with this, which is their first album. You know, I was like, wait, what about the other things? Oh, those are just called EPs and random singles. And I'm like, what? I mean, that's what a lot of musicians do nowadays, just because of how streaming and all that stuff works. But yeah, so Eternal Blue, which I'm really happy. One of these days I'll see Spirit Box, but I'll see them live. But yeah, but yeah, so I'm glad I got this. You know, get my vinyls and stuff. Amoeba used to have like it's small, but they used to have a specific like metal vinyl section. But like that's gone this time. This time I went around, it was just like this was found under rock and pop, which last year when I found the Lorna Shore album, it was under the metal section, you know? And also this was like not in the right place. I literally was just like there. I don't know if someone put it down, but I saw it and I was like, am I now? But yeah, they didn't have it this time. I guess like, you know, maybe because a lot of like metal bands, it's probably a lot of like import shit, and it wasn't selling, and I don't know, like, but yeah, so they had obviously, I like looked in the punk section in case like I somehow missed it, but it's like they do rock and pop, then it becomes hip hop, and then it's like dance and electric, and then it's like punk or whatever. But I mean, I tried to look in the punk section in the letters I want to look, but there was like these 4 people that were just hovering literally the entire time I was there. Even when I went through like the movies and back, I was like, you know what, fuck it. But their CD section for metal was very huge, so at least there's that. But now in the age of streaming, I just buy the vinyls now, because I finally have a record player after buying these forever. But yeah, so anyway, oh, also this went through TSA and it was fine. I don't know what the fuck was happening last year when I had the Lorna Shore album and TSA had to pull it out of my bag to scan it again. I don't fucking understand. Maybe they're just not a fan of deathcore, you know? So, anyway, so, yeah. Had fun, you know, had dinner in Little Tokyo twice, which is cool. We always go to Little Tokyo anyway. Our thing is always, if you can't figure out food, just find something Asian and you're always gonna be, you know, satisfied. Just realized that sounded weird if you take that out of context. Anyway, so yeah, that's it. So that was Monsterpalooza. I had a great time, as I said before.